epidermis. The epithelium in the epidermis is keratinized, stratified squamous. And then we have, in the deep dermis, loose connective tissue and dense irregular connective tissue. And if you remember from the last video, when I talked about connective tissue, dense irregular is really good for anchoring and resisting stretch, so it makes sense that it would be in the dermis. So the overview of the integumentary system, it includes the hair, nails, sweat glands, sebaceous glands, and sensory neurons. There's also the hypodermis, which is deep to the dermis. So far you have the epidermis, dermis, and hypodermis, but it's also known as the superficial fascia, which I didn't really use that term, or the subcutaneous tissue, which is a really commonly used term. It's not actually a part of the integumentary system, but it is like worth noting, I guess. It anchors the skin to the muscle and bone. It is loose connective tissue, rich with blood vessels. So since the integumentary system is actually avascular, how do you get your blood supply from the hypodermis? Oh, that's like ruining the lighting. But yeah, the blood supply is coming from that hypodermis. The integumentary system protects you from mechanical trauma, cuts and such, pathogens. We have, for example, lots of normal bacteria on our skin that fights off the pathogens. And, oh yeah, we also have, like, I'll get into it later, but there are immune cells in our skin. And then protect from the environment, from the UV, because, as you know, UV rays give you skin cancer. It is also involved in thermal regulation. It also excretes waste products, such as sweat. And then vitamin D synthesis is in your integumentary system. The UV is converted to vitamin D3. I have a really bad foot cramp. I'm gonna try and adjust and stretch out. Okay, so the epidermis is made up of 95% is made up of keratinocytes. These make the epidermis stronger and less susceptible to mechanical trauma. All these other details I've written down aren't really important. But yeah, the epidermis is 4 to 5 layers of cells. So, starting with the first deepest layer, you have your stratum basale, or basal. It's spelled B-A-S-A-L-E. So it is cuboidal in shape. It's primarily a single layer of stem cells that rest on the basement membrane. It is the most metabolically active layer of cells in the epidermis, which makes sense, and you'll see why. It is actively producing the precursor to vitamin D. So yeah, the basal layer has a lot of mitotic activity, and those cells are pushing up. And of course, the top layer of your skin is going to slow off, but the very first layer of your epidermis is creating a bunch of new cells to be pushed up to the very top. So next we have the stratum spinosum. I love this layer. It is the thickest stratum. It is spiky from cytoskeletal filament, so that's more pertaining to the dermis cell, also known as dendritic cells. They will be used interchangeably in anatomy, so you just have to know that those two words mean the same thing. These are macrophages, basically your immune response in the integumentary system. So again, it's really important that you know these. It is the Langerhans cell, or also known as dendritic cell, and that's also really confusing because there's also dendritic cells in the nervous system, I believe. So it's just something that you kind of have to stick in your head. It's annoying. Alright, back to stratum granulosum. You also have your lamellar granules. This is really important, but these release lipids into spaces between cells. You also have your prominent keratin bundles, and then your keratinocytes are actually going through apoptosis. Next, you have your stratum lucidum, which is only in the palms of your hands and the soles of your feet. It is only in your thick skin, and I think its main job is to just add that extra layer of protection because you're walking on your feet a lot and you're touching a lot of things with your hands, so you need that extra cushion and protection. Lastly, we have the stratum corneum. This is the most superficial layer. Okay, yes, the cells at the top are still keratinocytes, and this is where the cells are sloughing off, S-L-O-U-G-H, slough, and it's just like, if I do this, imagine just a bunch of dead squamous cells just coming off, you know? So every 40 to 50 days, that very top layer is just, whatever that word means, slought off. There's a lot going on upstairs right now, but I just have to keep going because I have work pretty soon. Anyways, skin color. It is a combination of hemoglobin, keratin, and melanin. It is composed of tyrosine and tyrosinase. And honestly, when anything ends in ACE, as in A-S-E, it is always going to be an enzyme, and that can really help you in exams. So it's like, what could this be? Or which one is an enzyme? Pick the one that ends in A-S-E. Anyways, synthesis occurs in your melanosomes. Also, everybody has the same number of melanocytes, but everyone's melanocytes work either more or less depending on their DNA. So, the difference between albinism and vitiligo. Albinism is inherited, and it is a mutated tyrosinase enzyme. So basically, you're not getting enough tyrosine because your tyrosinase isn't working. Vitiligo is the actual death of melanocytes or cessation of melanin production. Alright. Now we're moving on to the dermis. So all of that I just covered is the epidermis, which is the first part of the integumentary system. It's the most superficial layer. And then moving on to dermis is what's directly under. So, first layer of the dermis, the most superficial layer, which will be connecting to the stratum basal, is the papillary layer. It is loose connective tissue with vessels in the reticular layer, then we would literally, our skin would be dying. Ooh, I have a little star here that says there are also blood vessels in your dermal papillae, as in the papillary layer, so that's very good to know. That makes honestly a lot of sense, because how is the stratum basal going to get all of the nutrients? Okay, cool. Good to know. So, a lot of the stuff that I said a while before, I'm editing it right now in this moment. Your blood vessels are in your dermal papillae and in your reticular layer. As for glands, there are two distinctions or two differences. There are sweat glands and sebaceous glands. Also, my mom just hopped on another work call, so please bear with me. So, for sweat glands, it's more of a watery consistency, and for sebaceous glands, they're very oily. So, for sweat glands, we have mammary glands, ceruminous glands, also known as earwax glands. You have your apocrine glands and eccrine glands and merocrine glands. Those last three I listed, I'm not very sure, but I covered it in in one of my previous videos. Alright, it looks like here I have a lot of practice questions, so perhaps I'll just look through these and see which ones are worth mentioning. These are practice questions from my textbook. After reading all of these practice questions, I think the one thing that really stands out, really stands out to me is that sex hormones are telling the sebaceous glands to secrete sebum. Oh yeah, and I didn't mention that before. Sebum is the substance, the oily substance that sebaceous glands create. So yeah, it's in an exam. I could definitely see sex hormones being a question, like which gland would sex hormones send signals to, and that would be sebaceous. Anyways, skin cancer. We have basal cell carcinoma, and basal cell carcinoma, you would pretty much think, oh yeah, that's in the stratum basal layer. You also have your squamous cell carcinoma, so that's probably going to be more superficial in terms of, I guess, deepness. And then you have melanoma. Basal cell carcinoma is the least malignant and most common. It can proliferate and invade the dermis and hypodermis, and it is slow growing. Your squamous cell carcinoma, the only note I have here is that it arises from keratinocytes. And then melanoma is very dangerous. It is most likely to metastasize to your lymph and blood vessels. And then I'll just go over the ABCDE rule. This is the telltale signs on whether something on your skin is melanoma or not.